So in this latest episode, I am going to be talking to one of my graduates, Alex Lee, and showing you how to go from naught to £66,000 net profit in just 12 months. Do you want to go from naught to £66,000 a year profit in just 1 year? Well, if you do, then you're in the right place. I am here today with one of my personal mentees, Alex Lee, and I'm going to be interviewing him, and we're going to be looking at all of the ways in which he built up this amazing property business. So, Alex,
Hi.
Welcome back to the YouTube show.
Thank you very much.
You've been well?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, really good.
So, wow, it's gone really quick, hasn't it? You know, we've been working together now for just over a year.
Yep.
What would you say has been one of your highlights in property in just the last year?
Well, main highlights in property in the last year have just been creating enough income coming in to leave my job, and from leaving my job, growing that business to a stage where, you know, we don't have to think too much about the money going out, and not only that, we have more time to spend with family. Which is what we want our business to do.
So when we first started to work together, you had a financial target that
Yeah.
you wanted to hit, and that was to replace your
Replace
income. Did you do that in the first year?
Yes.
You've done that,
Done
yeah?
that,
And what's that figure?
That figure was £3,000.
3,000,
Yeah.
and you are now making how much?
We're now making £5,500.
So 5.5, that's net profit,
Net profit.
in the company account
Yeah, absolutely.
every single month.
Absolutely.
Okay, so look, let's take people back
Yep.
to just over a year ago. Why did you personally decide to get involved with property investing?
Well, I always knew that property was one of the sort of best ways to get in to start building an income, a business. And for me, I had a property background, but I wasn't working for myself. I wasn't working for myself. I was working for somebody else. And for me, it was about building up something that's safe, that's relatively risk averse, and that so I can then build a business to create enough income to then raise and do the things I want to do with my family.
Okay, more time.
Absolutely,
more
time,
freedom,
more choice, yeah. And at the end of the day, have something that I can then pass on to my children.
And at the time you was a QS?
Yes.
So you're working pretty long hours?
Yeah, 50, 60 hours a week.
Okay.
You know, I know some of you can relate to that. You know, hard, long hours. You don't see much of your family, and when you are back at home, you know, you're spending most of your headspace is back at work, thinking about what you're going to do the next day.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where, you know, things weren't going well at home, and I wasn't there in person. I was thinking about other things. I was working sort of long hours, and I just had enough.
Had enough?
Yeah.
And you just took the plunge?
Took the plunge.
So how did you meet me?
So, funny enough, your face popped up on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
And I went, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go and have a look.
Yeah.
So we sort of signed up to a free event in London.
Yeah, great.
And we decided, you know what? Actually, let's get a bit more personal time. So we had a nice VIP ticket with you. Had a good afternoon, good lunch, and it was just about building that relationship, building that rapport. We sort of saw something in you that we could relate to, and we actually thought, you know what? If someone's going to take us to where we want to go, it was you.
Excellent, good. So we started to work together, you came on some advanced training, started to mentor you. Hey, fast forward to now, how many units do you have in the portfolio?
We currently have 7 units in the portfolio, and we've got a number of few units in the pipeline coming up.
Great, so 7 units.
Yeah.
And what strategy did you decide to focus on?
So we focus on rent to service accommodation.
Rent to SA,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And just clear for viewers and people watching now, prior to starting the training with me, you had no previous experience with serviced accommodation,
Nothing.
rent to rent.
No.
You literally came in as a complete beginner.
Complete beginner.
So
No
is
idea.
it fair to say that anyone who's wanting to get into property, create cash flow, can become a professional property investor?
100%.
And what would you say to those people that want to do that? What's like a couple of big tips that
Okay.
you give those people?
Big tips is really sort of find out what is it that you want.
Okay.
Is it cash flow? Is it capital?
Okay.
Find someone who's doing what you're doing, and literally get as much knowledge from them as possible. Learn what their mistakes were, follow their guidance, and actually just get out there and do it.
Brilliant. So just take the action.
Take the action.
Invest in yourself. Get educated.
100%.
Now, it actually took you about 5 months to get your first deal.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
for 5 months to hit that the income replacement.
So
figure.
5
Yeah,
months to hit your initial target.
Yeah.
How many months did it take you to get your first deal
First
over the
deal
line?
was about 3 months.
So 3 months,
Yeah.
okay. So from 3 months
Yeah.
to 5 months, so just 2 months,
Yeah.
You then generated £3,000 a
Yeah.
month cash flow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then from there, you've now gone on to 5,500.
Yeah.
So what would you say to anyone watching this video now that's maybe telling themselves, oh, there's no deals out there. Oh, it's too hard to find deals. Rent to rent SA's done. It doesn't work in my area. What would you say to people that are feeling frustrated that maybe they've invested in some form of education, they're looking for deals and they've not yet got their first deal? What would you say to them?
I'd say keep going.
Okay,
Keep reaching out to your mentors, because at the end of the day it does work.
Yeah.
And it may be the case that you're maybe not hitting the right number of calls, maybe you're sort of reaching out to the wrong areas maybe, and maybe you just need to really focus in on a couple of really key sort of result areas for you, which obviously finding deals for us and finding finance.
Yeah. So how did you find your first deal?
So our first deal was through Gumtree.
Gumtree.
Yeah, so
good.
if anyone, obviously for us, it was all about focusing on Rightmove, OpenRent, Gumtree, really, and if someone posted an ad, and that morning they posted it, which within about half an hour I picked up the phone, called them, and that afternoon we'd arranged a viewing and sealed the deal.
Brilliant. So you've got to be relentless,
Yeah.
and you've got to be checking these advertisements on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Like you said, that came in the morning,
Yeah.
and then you'd have the deal secured
Yeah, exactly.
pretty
But
quick.
don't get me wrong. It's not so. As long as you're sort of efficient with your time, I'm still working full time. So as long as you're efficient, you don't need hours and hours and hours to get started.
Yeah.
You just need a few hours. So making sure that you're sort of looking every evening, maybe spending an hour, and then during your lunch break spending an hour phoning agents, and that's what we did.
And I think that's really something that's worked well for you and for many of my other graduates, those people that are working full time. You make a list of all your potential deals in the evening,
Yep.
and then you can call them in your lunch breaks, on the way to work, when you finish work,
Yep.
and then you can go do a whole bunch of viewings at the weekend.
Exactly.
Agents, landlords, they'll allow you to view properties on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and it's just about having that confidence to know that if you're looking for deals, at some point you're going to get a yes. And in your case, that was 3 months.
Yeah.
But then from 3 months to 12 months, you've gone from, a few deals
Yeah.
to 7 deals.
Yes, exactly.
So what's really next for you? Because now you've replaced your income, you've sacked the boss,
Yeah.
you quit your job,
Yeah.
you're now full-time in property. What does year 2 look like for you and Hayley?
So year 2 is all about growing. So we've now built up a system and a business that we know works. We've got all the systems and procedures in place that we need to run it sort of effectively and efficiently. So now it's all about scaling that model and looking to work with investors and manage their properties as well. So it's not only just about us taking on properties, it's about working and managing properties for
Wow,
other people
great.
who maybe don't want to spend the time doing it or don't have the systems and processes set up yet.
Great. So up until now, the 7 units are your own units, i.e. you've used your own capital to fund
Yes.
the initial rent
Yeah.
period, deposit period and moving in.
Yeah.
And now you want to go more into management and actually source property deals
Absolutely.
on for existing investors and help them get onto the ladder as well.
That's what it's all about.
And typically, how much are you going to be charging to package a deal for someone that wants to come and buy a deal for you? Because I know you've got some great deals on the table at the moment.
they're coming
You
up.
can't do all the deals
No,
yourself. So how much would you typically sell a deal for, and how does that look?
Okay, so for a deal, usually we take on between 3 and 5 years,
Okay.
and it will be between £2,500 and £5,000 to source the deal,
Okay,
depending on the duration of the contract. And then we offer then a sort of a turnkey bespoke package for our investors where we can manage that unit for them,
Wow.
so it's completely hands off.
Wow, brilliant. So you'll manage it for them.
Yep.
You'll find the guests.
Yes.
You'll deal with the checking in,
Yep.
the checking out. Your whole
Absolutely.
system
The
and
whole
process
system,
will
yeah.
do that for you.
Exactly.
And how many areas are you currently focusing on for your SA business?
So we're currently in 2 areas,
Okay.
but that's obviously now looking to grow and expand quite quickly. We're looking to take on maybe 2 or 3 more areas specifically this year,
Yeah.
with a real focus on the demand.
Okay. Now, what would you say has been your biggest challenge to date, and how did you overcome that challenge?
The biggest challenge. I think for me personally, I know other people who've started their own business in general will say it's the mindset, and it's about going from someone who's been in full-time employment. You go into work and you've got a sort of a list of tasks you need to do. You do it, you go home. Whereas running your own business, it's not like that. You're sort of 100% in, and if you've got to be your driver. And it's all about having that one person to sort of go to if you're having a bad day or if your mindset's not quite right.
Yeah.
Someone to reach out to actually put you back on track, because there's going to be times that we all know, property's not easy, but if you stick at it, you will succeed.
Yeah.
And having that sort of team, that group behind you, which we've had with you and Jay, it's been incredible. And so that's my biggest challenge has been myself and my mindset, but having you on call.
So getting out your own way, that's so
absolutely,
important, isn't it? And that's the thing, people, it's very easy to become negative, it's very easy to listen to friends, family members, they're going to hold you back. And like with any business, in any sector, anywhere around the world, there's always going to be bad days, there's going to be challenges, and that's why it's important to have a mentor, get the right education, get yourself on advanced training, hang around with good people, follow the systems and processes, ask lots of questions, and you and Hayley have both been really active in the community. We've built up a great relationship. We're now friends. You're going to be part of this community for many, many, many years to come, and you've just you haven't moaned, you haven't complained. You've just said, hey, I'm having a bad time, Liam, show me what to do. And I've personally mentored you through this process.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, it's just been wonderful. It's been so nice to see you grow as a person, so nice to see you and Hayley grow as a couple. And you've got a little girl, right?
Yeah, we have.
So what's her name?
Elena.
Yeah. How old's Elena now?
She'll be 2 in February, so she's ruling the roost already. Terrible twos have come up.
Twos have come up. You're in the process of buying your own house. Moving into your own accommodation.
Yeah, I can't wait for
which
that.
is going to be brilliant. Yeah. You've now got more time at home. So what do you do on a weekly basis, like family stuff? So how has property impacted your relationship with Elena? Impacted your relationship with Hayley? Exactly. What do you now get to do like in your spare time?
So for me, there are sort of 3 main things that I love doing. And sort of on Monday, 11:30, obviously is for me, it's taking Elena swimming, or having the ability to take her swimming, which if I was working full time, that wouldn't be an option. She's then got ballet on a Friday, which I can take her to, and it's then sort of having that time out with Hayley as and when we want to. We kind of try and merge business and pleasure at the same time. So if we're going up to one of our units, we might go out for lunch or a dinner if we're setting it up. It's just giving us that choice, and that's one of the biggest things for us. It's that freedom and choice to do what we
to hang out together.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so nice, isn't it? Because society, we get roped into believing that working hard and being away from our loved ones is all acceptable. And don't get me wrong, you've got to work hard, but you've got to work smarter. And there's lots of people out there that work really hard, but they're skinned. And they're not spending quality time with their loved ones, and that's because they need a new strategy. And this is really where serviced accommodation, one of the UK's fastest growing property strategies, has literally transformed your life.
100%.
What's your cash flow target by the end of 2020?
Okay, so cash flow target into the business is 10 to 15,000 into the business.
Okay.
And then personal is then going to be sort of 5 to 8,000.
So taking that money out of the business to pay yourselves personally,
exactly.
And I think that's more than achievable. We spoke about this today, but one of the things that you're going to need to do is bring in some team members now and build a team around you. Because if you want to start sourcing and earning £3,000 to £5,000 of sourcing, but you need time to speak to investors, go and meet investors, go and source the deals. What you don't want to do now is spend all the time on the nitty gritty, admin tasks that are just going to weight you down. So, what would you say? Anyone watching now? Words of wisdom. They're thinking of getting into property. Maybe they're completely new. Maybe they're in a job. Maybe they're a bit skeptical. Maybe they've had an experience before which wasn't that great. Hey, what would you say to anyone that just wants to go and do property?
Just go and do property.
Just go.
Make 2020 your year. For me, it was about, I always wanted to get into property, and I knew if I didn't make that next step, in 10 years' time, I'll still want to get into property. Find people who are doing what you want to do. Surround yourself with those people. Definitely get advanced training, because for me, I was investing in myself, and if I didn't do that, then I'd still be working full time, 100% guaranteed. And just keep going, just keep pushing.
Right. Hey, well look, we're going to continue working together. Definitely. Thanks for coming down and being on the show today. It's been absolutely wonderful to watch you grow. Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do another catch up at some point in the next few months?
Yep.
And I'll come out personally to your units and we'll film your units.
Perfect.
And we'll do a tour of one or two of your SAs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound good?
Sounds like a good deal, yeah.
Hey man, well keep it up mate. Hey, well done Alex,
Appreciate that.
mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Cheers.